The new Stygian Onslaught is here, bringing us some new bosses and some old trauma, so it's time we break down everything. Let's start without wasting time. The first boss is the new boss, Frostknight Hera, Hatred and Rage. The fight starts with him on a stage with 120% resistance to all elements. You can break it by dealing 50 instances of damage, which can be any damage, physical, dendro, pyro, etc. He will absorb the element that he takes the most damage from, gaining immunity and permanent application of that element. Which means, if you apply cryo and deal the most amount of cryo damage in the first stage, he will gain full resistance to cryo, and cryo will stay on him the entire time, making cryo deal 0 damage. So, how do you fight this? Step 1. Minimize the time taken to deal those 50 instances of damage. Use characters with extremely fast attack speed, or use Lunar reactions, since each hit counts as 6 instances of damage, meaning you only need 8 to 9 procs to break the first stage. In the second stage, again, he will absorb the element you deal the most damage with and permanently apply that element. But if the damage is only lunar damage or physical damage, he will not gain any resistance against that. So units like Nefer, Flins, and Nefer are insanely strong for this boss, since the enemy does not gain resistance to them. But what if you don't have lunar units? There are multiple setups that work. Deal 50 instances of physical damage first, then swap to your main DPS, so the boss gains no resistance.
Mavuika plus cryo unit like Citlali, Lila, or Rosaria can apply cryo and deal fast instance hits. Boss gets cryo application, you can do unlimited melt without issues. If you don't have Mavuika, Arlecchino does the same job without even needing another cryo unit. You can also replace cryo with Vape teams by bringing Farina. Vape scale is also extremely strong here. The old method of doing multi-element damage works, but I do not recommend it. The damage output is weaker. Varesa overload teams are still strong. Apply pyro first to break stage 1, then overload like crazy. But melt teams will outperform, since melt has a bigger multiplier. Chaska also works, but not recommended. Damage falls short in higher levels. Teams like Mavuika plus Mualani or Raiden plus double Hydro support will still work, but they are weaker because if you apply Hydro too much, boss gains Hydro resistance, losing half your DPS. Now before second boss, let's cover the third boss because that one is the easiest. This boss gains a shield. Break the shield, boss takes damage equal to what you dealt. But it applies Bond of Life to your party, making any healer completely useless. It attacks very fast, applies cryo, and slows you, so always bring a shielder. Any strong shield plus damage team is enough. Arlecchino and Chlorinde are amazing here, as they use Bond of Life mechanics themselves. Varesa overload with a shield like Toma, Mavuika melt, both do fine. But if you have Arlecchino, her melt or overload variant is best. So to defeat this boss properly, keep in mind that you will not trigger any reactions while the shield is active. Even if you are using Mavuika melt, the melt reaction will not trigger until the shield is broken. So instead of using Citlali's burst early, save it until after you break the shield, and then use your elemental burst to trigger reactions and deal the maximum amount of damage. This boss also performs an attack where he sacrifices a portion of his own HP, which is good for you. But if that attack hits you, it applies a dot, damage over time effect, that can quickly consume all your HP. So make sure you avoid that attack completely. The shield is around 22% of its total HP, and you will most likely break it twice, meaning you can remove around 44% of its HP during shield phases alone. So make sure your team can deal consistent DPS both during shield phase and after the shield breaks. You can also use Mavuika Overload, Kanich Burning, Mualani Vape. All of these teams work fine. But since the boss applies Bond of Life, it can be a problem for most healers, except if you have Arlecchino and Clorinde, as their damage increases over time with Bond of Life mechanics.
Stygian, she actually has some interesting uses. I saw a clip where you can use her with Zhongli and Jean to trap the boss inside her bubble, then pop it when it flies over by standing on top of Zhongli's pillar. You can even use her without Zhongli, just to trap the boss in the bubble and then use someone like Mavuika or even Arlecchino to deal insane vape damage. As said, this is just the beginning. We'll be discovering a lot more ways and tricks to clear this fight soon, so stay tuned.
And now, the real nightmare. Battle-Hardened Lightkeeper. This boss is literally a nightmare if you don't have lunar damage dealers. You must reduce the red HP bar to 0. The real HP bar appears. You have 10 seconds to drain it before the boss heals back to the new max HP bar. So unless you have Ascendant Gleam damage, which forces it to lose its real HP every time you break the red bar, this fight becomes nearly impossible at Fearless tier. Flins and Nefer make this boss extremely easy because they are designed for lunar conditions. Mavuika Premium teams, Varesa Overload, work only in Menacing level, but still very hard in Fearless unless you min-max everything perfectly.
You can also use Lauma and Ino Hyperbloom, enter Ascendant stage and rely on Hyperbloom to finish the fight. But without a true lunar DPS, Fearless difficulty becomes extremely tough. Premium Skirk teams and Mavuika Melt can still clear this boss with correct combos and perfect min-max rotations, but yes, it is still a grind. Varesa teams also work, especially with Chevreuse at C6, but I cannot find any truly F2P friendly option using Lauma and Nefer that performs reliably here. Lauma Hyperbloom is the cheapest solution, using Kuki plus Ino plus Nahida, as you can see in this example.
So, ranking difficulty: third boss, easiest. Second, Frostknight Hera with unlimited melt and vape makes him manageable. 1, Battle-Hardened Lightkeeper requires lunar damage. Without it, almost impossible at high tier.
The Stygian Onslaught is possible to clear up to Fearless difficulty easily if you have some relevant units like Mavuika, Flins, Nefer, Arlecchino. The nod-krai bosses are very annoying, but Stygian Onslaught stays for a full month, and we will be covering all the possible tips for this in the upcoming days, so stay tuned.